Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Drinks and Dave's.
You changed the background on me, but I get it now. I get it.
I didn't change that.
You didn't?
No, I didn't.
Oh, what the heck is going on?
Oh, maybe I did. Maybe I did. Hold on a second. Hold on a minute. Maybe I did. I don't know. Let's do this. There we go.
There we go. I thought, because it's, a competition.
Right. Well, there's a reason why I'm probably so beflummoxed, as they say. That is a Russian word, by the way. Beflummoxed. Yes, it's because there's nothing in either one of these hands, and it's driving me crazy.
I know. What are you smoking tonight, Dave?
Nothing. And Gunther, who we all know and love, has something to say to you, and he's pissed.
He's not very happy.
He's like, "Where are the cigars? This is why I don't drink vodka." So he's going to go away now.
Because we're professional and we're taking this serious, like.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
If you say so. So how's it going? How was your weekend and the beginning of your week? Because this is my Sunday, so I'm still on my weekend.
The weather's been beautiful. That's all I care about really anymore. Is it not rainy? Is it warm enough to be outside?
Well, okay. And I guess here the only thing we'd say, is it cool enough to be outside? Because, if we say, is it warm enough to be outside? Sure, if you want to burst into flames like Sarah Connor up against a chain link fence in the Terminator.
Warm, not hot. Warm, not.
Well, according to Pantea, it's still cool.
It was, it was chilly. She got home, and yesterday after work, and I was outside on the deck. And it, when the sun goes behind the house, it drops pretty quickly, the temp, and she's just mouthing from inside, "Aren't you cold?" And I, yes, I am. That's where the cigars can be smoked. So
that's true. Well, we got a good group of barflies here today. We got Amber, and we've got, I feel like, remember, what was that, Romper Room?
Romper Room.
I see Amber, and I see Tiglily, and I
we
see
need
Pantea.
a special mirror.
Oh, I don't have one. Anyway. We'll have to ask the prop department. Oh, and look at this. Look at this. Talking about bougie. The Borders Distillery, Puffing Billy Stream, Vodka Whisk, Top British Vodkas.
What is that?
Well, I think that's a picture. I think that's supposed to be a picture.
Yeah, that don't work that way.
Hello, Spider. How you doing? You know who we haven't seen yet, and I hope he says hi pretty soon, is our good friend, Rich. Where
Ricardo?
is he? Oh, there he is.
Rich.
There.
Good to see you, buddy. Here. As always. So we need to clarify something, because we'll have to clarify a lot of things throughout this show. But last week we announced a contest.
Yes. Do you remember what that was for?
It was for our shirts.
Yes.
And because we have 100 subscribers.
Right. Well, we actually have 102.
102.
Yes, we have 102. This is actually a dementia test.
There will be 100 losers and 2 winners of this contest.
Right, correct. And we changed it, I think, a little bit from what we said last time. Last time we were going to have 2 ways you could win. 2. One would be the barflies in the shoe, right? That would be in
one
the shoe. Okay,
Lauren.
Okay, Lawrence, or whatever the hell your name is.
What was his name?
Ed.
Really good shoe. Ed Sullivan?
Ed Sullivan, that's it. Yes. Welcome to the shoe.
Which is still true. The people joining live, not that people joining live on our show, have an opportunity to win.
Next week.
People watching on replay. So what's going to happen is the people watching this on replay, in the comments, you just type in "I heart Dave," and that will put you in the contest to win. So that'll run up and through what should we say, Monday night, because we need time to pull the names and do the drawing and all that.
You best be writing this down.
So I remember.
Not you, everybody. No, not you, everybody else.
Well, it's right there. Yeah, I heart Dave. That'll get anybody hearing this between now and Monday.
Stop. Why does it say type I less than 3, Dave?
That's a heart.
Well, there's emojis for that, and you can just type a heart emoji, because right now that looks, I am less than 3, Dave.
That's right. 2 days.
So it should be I heart emoji
Dave, or I
We'll
love
accept
Dave.
either one. We'll
Okay.
accept if you're on a TRS 80 and you don't have the emojis, you can do this. So between now and Monday night, once this is up in YouTube land, you go in the comments, you type that in, you'll be entered to win a shirt. And you said they could pick their color, right? So we'd have to get in touch with them.
Yes.
Yes. Now next week we're announcing.
We're not going to announce. We're not going to announce that until next week's show when we announce the winner of the live show.
Right. I think that's what we were getting to. So
that was really a long, dramatic pause for not a whole bunch of dramatic effect.
No, well, anyway.
So hello, Dad. Hi, Stephen. Go ahead. Keep going.
The people that watch this live are the other smaller, more chances to win group, but it's going to be next week. So next week we're going to do the collection of the names live. We're going to write them down on a piece of paper. Pick one out all in the same show. Right?
Well, hello, Linda. Thank you.
Uh-oh.
And I'm sure that Tig Lily has something to type to you at some point.
So, next week, anybody watching live at some point will say, hey, type whatever in the chat. We'll write it on paper. We'll do that all live next week. And then we'll announce both winners next week.
Okay, PB. See, this is why we don't have complicated instructions. Because, PB, what about those who watch on Memorex? He just said that.
All right, so that gets that out of the way. Have you gone to a restaurant and you got your usuals, right? I don't know, whatever kind of Mexican is your go-to, or a cheeseburger or whatever, and you're like, I always get the same stuff. I'm going to go off menu, and then it shows up, and you're like, why did I'm looking at all these vodkas. I'm not a vodka drinker, and I'm like, what are we doing?
This was your idea, so I'm just along for the ride.
It was. Have you ever had vodka straight?
Straight. Yeah, we drink every once in a while. We'll have a bucket of ice, a little tiny bucket of ice, and then we take these type of glasses, and bury them in the ice and chill the vodka.
Just
so
for that, what you're in the mood for. Huh?
Yeah, well, and Sharon drinks martinis, so.
Oh, so how? Now, what's the favorite concoction?
I personally like gin martinis, but since this is a vodka show, just 2 shots of vodka, half a shot of very dry vermouth, and she likes olives. I like the cocktail onions.
Yeah,
but now, my dad used to drink. This is how the reason why I got into vodka is I remember in the summer months, my parents would be sitting by the pool on the weekend, and it was always a vodka and tonic with lime. That was their go-to drink in the summer because it's very similar to a gin and tonic. And my dad, the way he drank a martini is he would say 2 shots of vodka, and then you take the vermouth bottle and you wave it over the glass, and then put the vermouth bottle away. And so that was an extremely dry martini.
Just drinking vodka.
Exactly.
So a gin martini is just vermouth and gin?
Right.
It just sweetens it up a little bit.
Yeah. It just adds some more botanicals. Yeah.
Okay.
Although they now have botanical vodkas now. Like I think Kettle One has a bunch of different. Ciroc has a bunch of them. Absolute has a bunch of them.
Got it.
That, so.
All right. Well, should we get into?
Well, let's see if there's any questions from the barflies first, and see if there's anything that they have to say.
Yeah, here PB's again not quite listening 100%, but that's all right.
So I'll let you see that because I'm preparing for our special exciting thing that we downloaded today.
Oh, you're preparing. Well, we got to get through. So we
explain what we're doing here because I don't know either.
We discussed doing this, right? And so I was not able to find that fancy website that had the really high-end international vodkas, or they stopped shipping to the United States, right? And so I said, well, let's just go to Total Wine and we can see what we can get. Not surprisingly, there's way more choices there than I would have imagined, even in the samples. But then so we had those choices, but then we also had KJ said he had a local vodka to Hemp Spider. I think, and then I also have a bottle of vodka that's made from San Francisco fog. They condense the fog up on a hill and make vodka out of it. And we were like, well, let's just go with what standard stuff is available.
Wait. So some guy or some girl or some combination of the two walks up to the top or heads out to Alcatraz, whatever the case may be, opens up a big bucket or something and collects all this fog, packages it up, makes vodka with I assume the condensation of that fog, and then sells it.
You know what the fog's name is?
No.
Carl.
Okay.
Yeah,
because I think that the added nuance of car exhaust and industrial waste in the fog and the salt in the sea air, that may add some flavor notes that would be quite interesting, if not toxic.
We might we might find out one day. So we decided we just start with the standard stuff to get it up and rolling. And then who knows what's going to happen down the road. We're going to do some kind of a fancier vodka tasting, and then we'll get into other ones. But we're not just it won't be alcohol.
Well, we've already discussed this for the finals. We're going to have the ones that make the finals will be chilled, and we will be having caviar.
Oh, caviar, right.
And by the way, those of you that would like to send caviar to the Drinks and Daves, please feel free to do so.
Drinks and Daves. So this is interesting. So, Rich, I'm going to actually show a few slides about vodka. We don't have any that are from Ireland in our selections available in sample size from Total Wine. I would imagine that vodka is probably made from Ireland. And I don't know. They would have some made from potatoes. That would make sense.
Did you know that most jewelers, believe it or not, will recommend soaking your jewelry in vodka because it's the cleanest finishing of all stuff. So don't go out and spend that $40 on that little tub of jewelry cleaner. Just use vodka. Okay, here's your question.
So this is now this just goes to show Tig Lily doesn't watch my shaving videos because I discussed this fairly lengthily, I think, there. But this was one of the questions so vodka is supposed to be odorless and tasteless and clear in its purest form.
You're going to get me punched.
So if that's the case, then so her question is, what's the point of this tasting? The question we would ask is, why pay $40 for a bottle versus $10 for a bottle if it's all the same crap?
Exactly. This is a public service for
is
you and all of our viewers. So either get on the train or buy your expensive vodka.
Well,
I'm gonna get punched anyways, so I might as well just go for broke.
Right. Well, and so that's what we're going to find out, because I've always wondered that myself. But there are obviously tons of people have done vodka tastings and they get little notes of this and that. So let's not get too far ahead, because we got a whole nother show to do about this after this one.
Right.
So should we start with the vodka basics?
Well, and the thing is, and just to make sure, because as you know, I did a little fragrance seminar thingy at the TSC Con, and the way to clean your palate is with coffee beans. So if there is any notes to be smelt, then I should be able to pick them out.
Whoa.
So we might be proving, we might be proving something. So Dave, take it away. And I must say, Dave did an absolutely fantastic job at this presentation, this PowerPoint.
What is that, like imposter Justin Bieber? No, that was like Vlad the Impaler, the Russian. Vodka. Connect the dots. Okay. So again, we can't assume.
Do you want me to read this in my announcer voice?
Oh, go ahead.
What is vodka? The name vodka originates from the Russian word voda, meaning water. Some suggest that the liquor dates to the Middle Ages when it was produced from potatoes and used as a medicinal agent, believed to be an effective remedy against cold weather. Growing grapes was so difficult in the cold weather temperament of Russia, so they began experimenting the fermenting of grains. This led to the original name, bread wine.
Who knew that? That's interesting, right? Bread
That is
wine.
actually, yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah. All right.
Continuing with our saga of what is vodka, vodka is the most used spirit for cocktails, largely due to its neutral flavor. Again, this lends to what Tiglily is saying, but we're going to prove this wrong, I think. Unlike most other liquors, vodka does not have any set regulations that govern its production, hence the reason why you can get dirty CO2-laden fog from San Francisco, which allows for individuals to get creative. Here is creative in the distillation process. The main consistency with all forms of vodka is that it is a rectified spirit. I read that wrong the first time I thought it said an erection spirit. But anyhow, a rectified spirit, meaning it has been distilled at least 3 times. Typically, the more times it's distilled, the cleaner and smoother the vodka is.
We're almost done.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's more. Distillation increases the alcohol percentage through heat. Using evaporation and condensation, this increase distinguishes it as a hard liquor or spirit versus a non-distilled alcohol. So, Johnny, tell us what else our contestants can get. Well, the ingredients are first fermented, where sugar is fed to yeast to create the alcohol. And I don't know if you knew this or not, but when yeast are feeding, basically they fart, and that's what carbonation is. But that's for another show. Then the liquid is distilled before adding water. Vodka goes through the column of the distillation process. This concept arrived in the 19th century when commercial distillers needed a faster method than pot distilling, which required cleaning after every batch. Column distilling involves large columns where mash wash is constantly injected and the steam rises to meet it.
Now, so the second point here is kind of important and might play into the flavors. So what's interesting is all the vodkas we bought are 40% alcohol, right? So that means 60% of it, more than half of what's in the bottle, is just water. So some of them talk about the spring waters or this water, that water. So that could add some to the flavor as to what water is being put in there, because obviously waters from different cities taste different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The alcohol content of the spirit greatly depends on where it is produced, but is recommended to be around 30 or 40% alcohol by volume, or ABV. Often, European variations average about 80% ABV, and the American brand Everclear reaches 96 ABV. Hence the reason why when you're in Europe and they're drinking vodka, you see people stumbling around. Vodka is known for being a tasteless, clear liquor with its flavor coming mostly from the burning sensation of consumption. This neutral flavor is why vodka is the most used spirit to mix with. Again, this statement right here lends to what Tiglily is saying.
Tiglily, he's already in the sauce.
So the point is merely drunkenness.
So Dave and I are talking about this before the show because this is interesting. We mentioned it's all 40% alcohol. Most of the scotch we drink is more than 40% alcohol. So usually when we're sipping on scotch, there's a lot more alcohol in it than these vodkas.
Exactly.
Yet vodkas has this, the image of just it's pure alcohol and get drunk and Anyway,
when it's really mostly water.
Are we ready for?
I think we're ready. And are you ready, folks? Say it with us. We want you to jump up and start clapping.
Okay, all right.
I don't know how long this song is, but I can't stop dancing. Okay.
All right. Okay.
And we're canceled.
So, and we changed some of these rules already, right? So we're tasting them at room temperature, even though most people drink it freezing cold just so that you can get the flavor notes out of it. We're not adding anything to it. No ice, no water, no cranberry juice.
Okay, can I stop you right there? Vodka and cranberry juice.
Huh?
Vodka and cranberry is to a mixed drink as is a malt beverage is to anything else. I mean, vodka and cranberry, really?
Like the sorority drink?
Yeah, I mean, come on. Put on your, just
Well, right.
grab your
That's
purse.
the way to get 40% alcohol into your system without tasting a darn thing, right?
True. Yeah.
And another point of who cares what flavor you're putting into. Anyway,
Right.
we're going to see if we can tell any differences in the smell. And then we're going to rank these. So we decided, again, just before the show, Dave, I think what we should do is we'll rank them ourselves 1 to 6. And so they'll either get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 points.
Okay.
And then we'll add them together. And then the top 3 from that will be reserved for our finale.
Great.
Because after this show, we've got another show where we're going to be tasting 7 more vodkas.
Exactly.
And the top 3 from both will go on to the finals.
Right. And that's when we have the caviar, right?
Right.
Okay. Just making sure.
Or tuna salad, whichever. Okay.
Okay. So this is the first one.
So go ahead. We haven't poured these.
No, I'll read this
so
real
we're
quick.
gonna do it live.
Absolute Sweden. Absolute Vodka launched in New York in 1979. Our transparent and labelless bottle, inspired by the 18th century medicine bottle, stood out from its tall, flashy competitors. Swedish water and winter wheat from southern Sweden. Now here's the hints of caramel and vanilla, and it finishes fresh and fruity. And you can buy a 750 milliliter bottle for just around $17.49. Okay.
All right.
So we're pouring these, at least I am. I'm pouring these as we speak.
Right. Well, after you speak, I guess, because I'm ready to roll.
Okay, well, hold on. Okay, so let me do the coffee thing first. Okay.
Okay. I'll wait for you. So I'm tasting in Glencairn's, and because of the high alcohol content, we'll cover the top with a little glass.
And I'm just your average Joe from down the street, so I'm using just a short glass. Now, see, with this, it's got that clean, kind of rubbing alcohol smell, but with a hint of citrus. I'm getting.
Do you? That's what I have to compare. I just get like you just cleaned your arm for an IV alcohol smell.
Well, yeah, I'm getting that, but I'm also getting just a tad of sweetness. So let's see. Okay, I don't get very smooth, no burn for me, no burn at all, none. No burn at all, but I'm not getting, even on the palate, on the because obviously what people don't realize is a lot of your flavor notes are done by your nose, by your nasal passages. So even if I do kind of a retrohale with the flavor in my mouth, I'm getting a tad bit of a sweetness, but I wouldn't necessarily call it caramel or vanilla.
No. If I had to pick a flavor note out of that, it might be lime.
Yeah, okay. I think I get that
but
because
more of a sensation versus a flavor.
But there is there is a thickness on the palate that I could say could be a creamish, a cream type of finish.
Okay.
But very good, very smooth, no burn whatsoever, none.
Okay. So we can't move that forward or back until we try the next one.
Well, let's score first.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We can't.
Oh, that's true. You're right. Okay. Yeah. Well, I need to clean my palate.
We'll rank them 1 to 6.
Okay, I'm going to clean my palate.
So right now it just stays where it is. So while you're doing that, this is the American Plains. It's from the United States. And it's interesting because I'll tell you one thing that does change with the price of these is how much information you can get from the website somewhere. So this one, it wasn't entirely clear what company made it. I saw Prestige Beverage Group, but they had no website. This one is made from corn, and it's distilled 5 times, and it costs you $12 for 750 mils.
I will be honest with you. I'm a little scared. Murder mittens. Well,
This one smells less clean. Like if that alcohol pad had been rubbed on the floor and then on your arm.
Yeah, I am getting kind of a, I don't want to say a dirty note, but yeah.
Funk.
Yeah. Like somebody had some mites on their arm hair.
All right.
Okay. I can taste the corn. And I am getting quite a bit of burn on the back of the throat. And it leaves, to me, it leaves a really nasty aftertaste.
That's what I was gonna say. Is that it's because you mentioned the thickness of Absolute. This one tastes a little bit thinner.
Yeah, and it's got a terrible finish.
Funk follows through, but and it's interesting you say the burn because normally that's from the alcohol percentage, and Tig's saying if it doesn't burn, is it really vodka? But again, we're used to drinking scotches that have a lot more alcohol content.
Yeah, when you and the thing, this, you know what this reminds me of, and boy, am I going to make my bourbon drinkers mad. This reminds me of Wild Turkey 101. I don't know why. It's got a really nasty aftertaste, and it. And
the first flavor note that hits my palate is cough syrup.
See, to
like
me,
when you're a kid.
To me, I got corn.
Okay. All right, but obviously, so see, we move Absolute up one, and now American Plain is going to go down there at the worst. All right. Next one. Hit it.
Okay, I'll read. Belvedere, Poland. Poland's longest operating vodka distillery, founded in 1910. It is rye. Light vanilla notes sway between sweet and savory with a hint of black pepper and spice. Finished of sustained with notes of almond, clotted cream, faint Brazil nut characteristics, and you can pick yours up for $25.99. Now, if what this says is true, this may vault itself to the top because it's got every flavor note in my wheelhouse. So let's see.
So when I was telling Dave before the show is that if they all taste the same, then wouldn't you buy? Well, if you just want to get drunk, it doesn't matter. But I'd certainly rather have this beautiful bottle sitting around my house than one that just says American Plain.
Well, the thing is, but that argument about, well, if it all tastes the same, just buy the cheapest, we just proved that wrong. Okay, so
we're back to very clean alcohol pad.
Yes. I don't get any citrus on this one. I just get clean. That alcohol you'd picture in a James Bond movie where the masseuse is rubbing alcohol on you and that sterile smell. That's what I get. This reminds me of a hospital.
Okay, taste. I won't say anything till you taste it.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Right. I got more sweetness than the Absolute.
But I got the sweet where they're talking about sweet and savory because you can taste the sweet. And then as you swallow, you have the hint of the black pepper. I don't get a lot of spices other than that. And I don't, I guess you could argue the creaminess comes, the thickness on the back of the palate. So you could call that creamy.
So I would say I get vanilla with this, and when I breathe through, I could, if I was reading almond and thinking almond, I could connect those two.
Right. I can see that it's got when you retrohale, it does have a nutty, a nutty type.
So for me, that is staying in number one position.
Well, I'm still right now for me, American Plains is somewhere down on the road, but right now, Absolute and Belvedere are tied for me. We may have to go back.
We'll have to go back because I do want to. Absolute was the first sip, and you mentioned it feeling thicker, and I want to go back and explore that too. All right, here's the next one.
Okay, you want to read? I'll get this one. Ciroc. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
I think so.
Born from generation of winemakers and distillers dating back to the 16th century, Jean-Sébastien Ribochet, the master distiller of Ciroc, has the art of distilling in his veins. The wine is distilled 4 times. Interesting, they call it wine. The wine is distilled 4 times in column stills, and the 5th distillation, Ciroc Ultra Premium Vodka, is truly created in the traditional tailor-made copper pot still in Maison Vivere Distillery in the south of France. French wine grapes. This is interesting. Smooth, slightly sweet, enriched by the natural character of the grapes. Finish crisp and clean. So I guess what I would ask here, it says the wine is distilled 4 times. So I assuming that they're distilling grape wine, and then the distillation through the column is what becomes the vodka. Am I right in that?
So you remember, so the first step in any vodka is fermenting something to get the alcohol. So they're fermenting grapes, which results in wine.
Did it say during your research what type of grapes?
No.
By chance?
It said this, yeah. And so that's interesting, because they say that there's nothing that defines what vodka is really, so you can do anything. So you can take any alcohol. You could start with beer or anything and send it through distillation just to pour the alcohol off.
Right. Now, on the sniff, I get even a stronger alcohol, rubbing alcohol type hit, which is weird because we're picking out flavor notes. We're picking out flavor notes, but we're not smelling a whole bunch different.
It's weird that I want to use the word thicker to the scent.
Okay.
But there's more body to the alcohol smell.
Okay, I see what you're saying. In other words, it hits you a little bit stronger. Okay.
It's weird to describe. It smells warm and thick.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh.
Okay, so
right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amber. Because I know that they have flavored versions of Ciroc too. Right out of the gate, it's thicker. The mouthfeel is thicker right out of the gate to me. It stays on the tongue longer. Mm-hmm. But I'm not tasting grape, but I'm tasting some sweetness in there and more actually the description of the cream, the clotted cream and stuff actually fits this better to me. Again, no burn. Oh, I like that.
So and it makes me wonder, I was going to say, if I didn't know better, I would say that they added in some wine or grape juice. I mean, the flavor on this is strong enough that it isn't just a hint.
And take the sugar out of it, okay, if you can. Take the sugar out of it, and you know that taste that you get when you're drinking Welch's white grape juice? That's what I get here.
Right.
It's
strong enough that it's like, if they just distill it and add water, should the flavor be that strong? But it's way different than anything else.
Well, it says, like what Amber's saying, there's 2 French grapes. And I don't know, you as a wine person would know the Mauzac Blanc and the Ugni Blanc. So they're probably not a real sweet grape, but just enough. But I'll tell you what, out of this one, I got to tell you, this one's vaulting to the top for me, because this is one, because the other ones I can say, okay, yeah, I could drink that straight, but I'd prefer to have it in something. This one I could drink straight all day long.
Right, and that's what I would say. It kind of depends what you want, because I would have to think after we taste 13 of these, this will be the only one that tastes like this. So if you want this taste, it is nice and clean. It would be great freezing cold on a hot day because it's very refreshing and it's got some flavor to it.
And it's got a really nice finish, yeah.
If you want vodka, this seems like it's different than vodka.
Well,
and to answer Rich's questions, if you distill grappa over and over, it becomes vodka. If you distill anything over and over, because when you are distilling a liquid, you get it's usually the alcohol that evaporates first because of the boiling point, right? And you condense that. There's a little bit of stuff before and after that you try to throw away, but mostly that's what you do. And the more you distill,
the more you can get rid of the stuff that comes before and after. And that's how you end up. If you did it enough, you end up just with almost 100% alcohol. Right. And it doesn't matter what you started with.
And I don't know if you noticed this, Dave, but it seemed like, with all the ones we've tasted, when I've cleansed my palate real quick with both, the olfactory with the coffee and taking a sip of a drink, the other vodkas cleared out pretty quick. This one, even with a sip of a beverage to clear out my palate, is still lingering. I think that the one thing I caught from Ciroc is that I tasted that raw alcohol a little bit more, but it blended as soon as it hit the back of my palate and I swallowed and then I breathed out. Very, very nice. I like that one.
Interesting. All right. 2 more to go.
Okay, Crystal Head Canada, launched in 2008 in a really, really, really cool bottle, because this is the baby bottle, and they've got the big ones too. Canadian corn. It is distilled 4 times into a neutral grain spirit and blended with pristine water from Newfoundland, Canada. The vodka is filtered 7 times, as opposed to Ciroc, which is 6, or some of the others, of which 3 are through layers of semi-precious crystals known as Herkimer diamonds. Silky smooth with a hint of sweetness and vanilla, ending in a sweet, creamy finish. Now, this is also our most expensive vodka so far at $46.99. So this thing has jumped by 2/3, and I think part of that is what you're paying for is the skull.
And I think this is the most expensive one we have. The sample was $12.
Was it
11 or 12? Yeah.
Well, I thought it was 6, but.
Well, maybe we
I just threw it in the cart.
But it's cool that the little skull bottle is still glass on this little tiny sample.
Now, on the smell,
I was just going to mention what Amber put in the chat. This is Dan Aykroyd's.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well, he's into everything because he's also got the Blues Brothers cannabis line.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he does. Him and what's his name's brother went in on it. It's called the Blues Brothers, and actually he went Jim Belushi went to Dan Aykroyd to so he could use that name, and Dan Aykroyd gave him the blessing. Okay, this I don't get a big hit.
Oh.
I don't get a big hit of the alcohol here.
On the smell or the taste?
On the smell. I don't get. I mean, I smell it in the background, but I don't smell a lot of it.
Dude, this is good.
Well, I have to say, I'm trying not to be biased because I had the full bottle of this, and I've already drank it all. So
it is sweet.
I get the sweetness.
Say hazelnut or anything. I would get that kind of a finish to it, more meaty. Sweetness?
Yeah, I get the sweetness to it. The only thing I don't like of it is it's giving me more of a rear of the palate and throat burn than the others. And I think that's we've talked about this before, and the reason why I'm not a huge bourbon drinker is corn. Anything that's corn heavy on the mash hits me really hard. So I think that's probably what it is.
Okay, so hold on. Before we taste the Grey Goose, we're supposed to be ranking these or moving them up and down the line as we go.
Mm-hmm.
So I would leave everything in the order we tasted it until I'll tell you with the Ciroc, that one throws me off because it's so different.
Well, when we're done,
we're gonna have to go back through.
Yeah, when we're done and we can point, when we go back for the scoring.
All right, let's do the last one, then we can go back.
But I will say one thing. That one is very clean, but I would venture to say that that's the thickest of them all so far to me.
In mouthfeel?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay, last one for today.
Okay.
Grey Goose.
I'll let you read that one.
All right. Nurtured and captured from field to bottle in an exclusive process designed and controlled by the extraordinary skills and commitment of our cellar master. Requires only a single distillation, allowing the character of its premium ingredients to shine through. Winter wheat and spring water. It should have a sweet, round palate, finished bold and toffee.
Toffee.
So I'll tell you, this whole single distillation thing is kind of. So I'll tell you, Grey Goose didn't have the best website for getting information, and it was all just kind of buzzwords and stuff. This whole single distillation, they're talking about use of a column still, which they all do, right? And that's so whatever. So hold on, let's take a look at our what do we got? PB here. He got a
Trump Vodka's Netherlands,
$900. Leather
UK offers
Jasmine.
10 like
Well, PB, if you now, like we said, KJ Spider, he's got one he's going to send us, and I've got a San Francisco one. If you want to buy us that vodka and send it in for the tasting,
we
can add that to our third one. Tesla also, no, Tesla doesn't have a vodka. They've got a rum. What is it? Or is it a vodka? I don't know.
Well, now that we've started this, we should probably... will you have any extra for me to taste?
Well, yeah, I'll say there's plenty of extra even what I poured. We're not even pouring.
That was beautiful. No, but you know what? This is starting off a trend because we're going to have to do we've done a Scotch tasting, haven't we? No, we haven't.
No, we haven't done nothing. So
we'll have to do tastings, yes.
Oh my gosh. If and when you come here and we do our live show, it's going to be Barber Dave raids the liquor cabinet.
Okay.
And we'll do a tasting. Okay, what do you think of this one? From France. Woof.
I get the rubbing alcohol right out of the gate.
It's a little sharper.
Smooth. It's not Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Wow, no burn.
Okay,
I'm getting the toffee through the retrohale. I'm getting that sweetness. That is smooth.
It's an aftertaste sweetness, right? It's not on your tongue like the others,
right? But it's not burny down the throat either.
This one to me is the smoothest of all the ones we've tasted. There's not much flavor. There's not much alcohol hit or anything. If you just wanted smooth. Which then you get into what why would you if all you want to do is add alcohol to a cocktail, right? Is what we read is that it's the it's the most neutral spirit, so you can add alcohol without adding flavor to a cocktail by using vodka. At which point you can just use the cheaper stuff, right? And if you were going to sit here and drink it neat, where you would appreciate why would you drink something that has basically no flavor?
Well, and that's the one thing that this has shown me, that because normally it's vodka tonic. Very rarely have I drank a vodka, just iced up. Very rarely we do it, but very rarely, or in a martini. But I agree with you. I said, because now, we could break this down into a whole nother category that says, what of these six do you want to drink neat? What of these six do you want to drink in a drink? And I agree with you. I mean, based on the tasting profiles that we've seen, and this is arguing not botanicals. Let's take the botanical vodkas out of it. Just the straight vodkas. I think you're right. I mean, other than I don't think American Plains could taste good no matter what you mixed it with. That's just my opinion. But the other ones, I think in a way you're almost wasting mixing it with something, because it does have they have a really nice feel to them. What I'm going to be interested to see is if the profiles are going to change when we have them iced. That's going to be interesting to see, because obviously temperature. And now I'll hear some arguments here, but to me, let's go back to candy for a minute. So if you take a Reese's peanut butter cup, just use that as an example. You take a Reese's peanut butter cup and you eat that right out of the package, as opposed to taking a Reese's peanut butter cup and throwing it in the freezer.
Right.
To me, the Reese's peanut butter cup in the freezer wins hands down, because it changes the profile of the whole thing.
That's fine. You do you, buddy. But so go back through, and we got to start putting them in order from
worst
to best.
All right.
I think we both agree American's going to be down at the worst. Well, and to your point, I think that if you're going to make a cocktail, it should be at least good enough that it doesn't degrade the cocktail. I think that, well, here, let's try the American. We'll give it a shot. Dude, the scent of that one is just bad. Like before it even hits your lips, you get the stink. So you don't want to make your cocktail worse by adding it.
Right.
So you at least need to get past the bad to get to neutral, I think, if you're doing this.
Okay, so I'm going back through them all to rank them in my mind, and then what I think we should do is you and I separately should score them, and then come back.
Well, Dave, if we do that, it's going to be a pretty quiet show.
Well, no, I mean, well, I guess we could score them
to answer this question, yeah, that was like the
that was the
third
last
one we did.
No, the Belvedere was the last one.
No, Ponte is asking if we had Belvedere in our tasting.
Yeah, that was the last one we did.
No, it's a B. That was the
Doesn't
third
matter.
one.
That was the last one we did, wasn't it?
No.
Yeah. Oh, no, that was Grey Goose. I'm sorry.
Wow, how much have you had to drink? These old guys, they can't handle it.
But you know what's funny? Going back to the Belvedere, I get a punch of citrus. A punch of citrus on the Belvedere. Mm-hmm.
You know, and the Ciroc, I mean, I almost want to exclude that one.
No, we can't.
Because but it's not that you get the scent before it even hits your tongue and there's flavor to it. It's not just hints.
No, I think we have to. Ooh, shiver. Now that's always a point. When you get a shiver, it's always worth a point.
That's worth a point. Well, if nothing else, for you and I, this has been educational and interesting because they obviously are not all the same.
Right.
Right. So I'm just down. I got to figure out Absolute and Belvedere.
Okay, let me do my points here while you're doing that.
I'll tell you, boy.
Okay, you want to hear my scores?
Hold on. Let me decide on these three.
Okay.
Okay, that one's
I've got
there.
I've got mine ranked. So then we're going to have to argue which one we do.
Well, no, we rank them and then I add them together, and that's the law. So what's your worst one? That one gets 1 point.
American Plains, I put a 0.
Right.
I put a 0.
But you can't. That's one. Okay, what's your second?
So it's 1. It's 1.
Yeah. What's your second one?
My second worst or second best? Second worst?
Worst.
Skull. I give a 3.
You can't. They're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, okay. So it's 5.
5 would be towards the best.
No.
What's next to the American?
No.
What's
You
worst?
said okay. American Plains is
It's 1 point
gets 1 point
because it's the worst. Now, what gets 2 points because it's the next better one than that?
Okay. Skull.
I'm shocked. Okay, go ahead.
After Skull, it would be Grey Goose.
All right, that's 3.
Belvedere.
Okay.
Absolute.
And Ciroc.
And Ciroc.
Your best.
I think that's my best, yeah.
Wow.
So if I was to go from best to worst, it would be Ciroc, Absolute, Belvedere, Grey Goose, Skull, American Plains.
Interesting. And you based that then just on okay, so that was the rules, which you would like to drink neat, which was Ciroc, which has the most flavor to it, right?
Right.
So I agree. American Plains was the worst. I put Grey Goose next to that, which is not too far from you. And then Absolute, which was next to your favorite, was third worst to me.
Okay.
Just because it, the flavors it did have weren't all that to me.
Okay.
And then Belvedere we put in exactly the same position.
Mm-hmm.
And I had Ciroc at 5. And maybe I should switch them because of the flavor, and that's why it doesn't seem fair. Like it has more flavor, so why wouldn't you want to drink that? I
Well,
put Crystal number 6.
Well, the reason why I think is because I think that's what stands Ciroc apart from the rest of these is the fact that it does add those flavors. And out of the descriptions that we had, to me, it was the only one that actually was true to its description, other than Absolute. I mean, Absolute, you did get a little bit of a citrusy tail end.
Okay, so we need to decide because we have a clear number 1 adding them up, which is Ciroc. That was the best for you, second best for me.
But this is coming from the guy that was riding down the street today naked on his bicycle, telling us that math is hard.
So we have 3 tied for second place.
So
we need to decide, do we take all 3 forward or do we do... I can tell you which one had the highest average scores.
What's the one that had the highest average?
It would be Absolute and Belvedere.
Okay.
Crystal, we were split on. We put at opposite ends of the lineup.
Well, here's what I'd be willing to do, is I'd be willing to take Ciroc as number 1. I don't think I'll bend on that one. I think I could interchange Absolute, Belvedere, or Grey Goose. So I would say either any one of those 3 could be number 2 or number 3.
All right. So if we switch your Absolute and Belvedere, then we have a clear first, second, third.
Right.
And that would be Belvedere, Ciroc, and
well,
Crystal.
But see, hold on a minute. Let me retaste Absolute and Grey Goose just to give it its fair.
Well, Grey Goose is way down there, so that's not going to be.
Oh, okay.
Moving on.
See, I like the Absolute. I mean, to me, if we were going to pick the top 3 for this first round, it would be Ciroc, Belvedere, and Absolute. Do you agree?
I don't agree. That's why we remember was the decision. Do we each take our own 3, or we decide on 3?
I think we should decide on 3. I think we should decide on 3. So, what are your top 3? Because I did switch my Absolute from Belvedere. I made Belvedere second.
Okay, so you know what's weird? I just retasted Absolute and Crystal Head, and Crystal Head got worse.
Okay.
So I'm good with that. If we do Absolute, Belvedere, and Ciroc.
Okay. I think that's a fair.
All right, those are our 3 winners to move forward.
Okay.
We need some water and dinner, and we need to lay down a little bit.
Well, let's before we go any further. So, Barflies, tell us what you thought of that tasting, and is it something that you'd like us to do with wine or with bourbons or with scotch?
There's plenty here. That's what you need to get in that bottle. I mean, can you? I don't. You probably can't see.
Oh, there's
that's all
plenty,
I poured out. That's Absolute. Yeah, what did she want?
Like,
she wanted
I've got plenty for the Ciroc.
Belvedere was I poured down to there.
I think we picked 3 good ones. I'm surprised though that the Grey Goose was down further for me, because let's face it, Grey.
Yeah.
I like what Amber said. See, her and I and Spider think about the same. I don't think it was trash. But it's
you tried American Plains, because if you want trash
out of the 6, if you compare Skull with American Plains, Skull is like a tuxedo, and American Plains is like the bottom of your shoe.
And we could have done a lot more stuff, right? We could have done dollars per milliliter, things like that. So for the price, I would say Crystal certainly is not worth the price, because that was the most expensive one we got.
But I need to address our good buddy here. So according to Major Rich, the ability to judge degrades with the number of shots. Rich, we are professionals here. We have installed alcohol filters, so where we can maintain a very, very non-biased amount.
Dave.
Huh? What?
Liver.
It's called Scotch. We drink Scotch, and once you drink Scotch, nothing else matters.
Oh.
No, yeah, this would be after 20. They're all fine. Yeah,
I like what Ken what Kev says. That moment when you were tasting, you yell out "murder mittens."
Well, so
love it. I
accomplished,
love it.
right? They're not all the same.
No, and there
Now,
is
what it's
tasting
worth
notes.
paying for in a cocktail is a totally different thing.
Well, you know what's going to be interesting, because the most popular vodka, I guess you could argue the most popular vodka for the average Joe in the street will be next week, and that's
Right.
this one right here, Smirnoff.
And next week looks like they're all going to be trash. I'll tell you. So,
Well, I don't know.
if you guys didn't see on our YouTube page this morning under community, I posted which ones we're tasting. I know it was short notice for tonight, but if next week, if you want to go out and get the same samples we've got, or see if you can, they're listed on the post on our community site on our YouTube page. So.
Yeah. Any questions from you guys? Anything you'd like to see? No, anything you'd like to see different?
You do a video, a shaving video.
Hey, I did a shaving video when I was on keto and ate a Pocky One Chip. Didn't end very well, but I did it.
So let's remind everybody, we had the scroll going across the whole time. Once it gets posted in the comments for the video, you go there.
Have some more vodka, Dave.
And you put I Heart Dave, and that'll enter you to win one of the 2 shirt giveaways.
Yeah, you can win you can win a B-Third if you put a
And for the second chance,
Wow.
you show up next week when we're going to have to not only this professional tasting will continue, but anybody that puts in the chat that they're in next week, we'll put it on a piece of paper, do a drawing, and we'll be giving away 2 shirts.
But this is interesting, with our opinions and stuff like that. Yeah. I love Polish vodka, but not Belvedere. It absolutely tastes bitter like white gas.
We put Belvedere middle-ish high.
Belvedere was
halfway.
Belvedere was number 2. It was part of our top 3.
Well, I know, but I'm just looking at both of our rankings originally, put it in the top half.
Right.
But hey, any shopping you do, any excuse to buy stuff, that's good.
So let's remind everybody what our top 3 are. So our top 3 for next week, or no, not for the 3rd week, for week 3, for the final. So these will be in this. So Ciroc, I think we both agree is number 1. Belvedere is number 2, and Absolute is number 3. Now this is not the flavored one.
No, none of these are flavored. And Absolute kind of surprises me because I always thought of that as a mainstream just.
Now, shall we remind? Yeah, there's actually, Jerry, there's going to be 3 vodka episodes because we've got to go through these ones and then we've got through. So let's show everybody what the pure hell we're going to go through next week. So next week, and this is not in any specific order, we are going to be doing Core Platinum Vodka.
That comes in a lovely plastic bottle, much like
this one's not. This is solid glass. This is glass. Yeah, this one is This one wins for the greatest bottle. This is Roberto Cavalli vodka. Then we're going to do, and this one I have a feeling is going to be just like the American Plains because this is Tower vodka and this is crafted in Texas. Yeah, I have a feeling this is going to be hell. And then we have Kettle One, which is a very popular vodka, Kettle One. And then, of course, the old standby that's been here longer than, oh no, there's one more. There's Sky Vodka out of San Francisco. Is this the one that, this doesn't have fog?
No.
It doesn't? Oh, okay.
Hanger One is the one that does it out of fog.
And then finally, the old dog on the porch, the one that's been around forever, and that's Smirnoff.
So it's the number one selling vodka in the world, right?
Yeah,
I believe.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and the thing is, it'll be interesting because I've never drank Smirnoff straight, ever.
Well,
it's always been in something else.
A dream come true, buddy.
Well, okay, P-Beat brings this up, and I argued my point with Dave, and I thought that Tito's should have been in this competition because
I didn't see it.
Nothing makes a Moscow Mule like Tito's. That's what you use. You use
All right. Well,
Tito's.
I'll tell you what. I will. Did you happen to see if they had the sample?
They
of
had
Tito's?
the sample. Yeah, they had the samples at
All
Total
right.
Wine.
Well, let me go back next week, and if they have it, we'll up it just for you to 8 vodkas from.
That's
6
okay
to
because
8.
I've got a whole
Can you
bottle
handle
of
that?
I got a whole bottle of Tito's right here. So, but
Uh-oh.
see, the one
No,
I'm looking
he's
forward to is when
out.
when
Oh,
when
there
we
we
do when we do the tequila tasting. Because what's cool about that is after the tequila tasting's over, we won't remember anything. So who cares?
Wait, do we get chips and salsa? That seems like the appropriate way to.
Yes. Oh, and don't forget, and I'm going to kind of cross promote here. If you're part of the cadre, don't forget next Sunday, Cinco de Mayo, we're going to have a Zoom call. So we're going to have chips and salsa and tequila and queso blanco. Now I'm going to have that. You guys will have to buy your own, but
PB, it's a matter of if you can buy the little tiny bottle. That's all.
yes.
That's all. I just stood in front of the little tiny bottle section and just took all the vodkas that were not flavored.
But you know what's interesting about buying all these little samples? I don't know if you notice this in your Total Wine, but when you walk up to the counter, to the cashier, and all you have is this and nothing else, because in our counter we had all these vodkas and a bottle of lime juice. That was it. And you get that look from the cashier like, oh, these poor bastards. They don't want to buy full bottles, but they want to sit in the back of a dumpster and just slug down these
No,
bottles.
you hand them out for trick-or-treaters.
Well, Dave, I think
right.
that went very well. I think it went very well. I and the cool thing about it is we get to have a show, we get to have some fun, and we get to get a little buzz on. So, I mean, now I will say one thing. What is the first thing? Okay, here's a contest for everybody. What do you think the first thing I'm going to do as soon as this show's over? Dave, you go first.
You're going to light up a cigar.
Oh, dear Lord. And I guess we should explain. The reason why we didn't light up cigars for this is so we didn't burn our palates out. We wanted to be, because we're professionals, because we want you, the barflies, to get an unbiased review of the best vodkas on the planet. Well, okay, the best vodkas at Total Wine.
That come in small bottles.
They come in small bottles because we're cheap. But if you'd like to contribute to Drinks and Dave's, now I do need to add a question, and you'll have to find out from KJ. We are awaiting. So we've got next week's show will be the second 8 or 7 bottles of vodka. Then we'll do the finals, and then hopefully by then, so that's what 3 weeks from now. Hopefully we will do the show that Dave has been regretting, and that is the salsa show or the hot sauce show.
Yeah, he pointed out. I told him no rush because I'm not. All fired up
come
to do that.
on!
But I bet that I bet that he'll have it here within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah,
if not, whenever it shows up, we'll. And in fact, we'll have to count the weekends because there's a graduation weekend.
Okay.
I think that's just over a month. So if he gets it here, so we can do it right after the vodka, will be okay. Otherwise, we might have to postpone.
And before we shut down, just a quick reminder that when this video posts, probably in a couple hours or a couple minutes, whatever, if you want to get in the comment section of the video on YouTube, put I heart Dave. To be in. And then next week, the barflies are going to be in that contest, and we'll pick a winner for both.
Beautiful.
So.
Let's
All
get
right.
at it.
Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. I hope you had a good time. And we will see you next week for round 2 of Wodka Wars. Say goodnight, Dave.
Night, Dave.
See you guys later.